guys, so I wanted to come on today and show you guys some stuff with Procreate. I get so many questions on this program and I figured I better do a video here so I can help you guys out. And I did promise I was going to get this done this week, so I've got a few minutes here and I'm going to show you some really basic things with Procreate. And first of all, Procreate is kind of an artist's app. It's a bit of a investment in terms of apps. Most apps are free. This one I paid $15 for, but it is worth every penny because obviously I use it for my business for doing e-design work. So this is what it looks like. You can see it here. It's black and it's got this pink swirl in it. A lot of people ask, what does it look like? Because you can't find it. It is an Apple app, I believe. I don't know if Android has this available. A lot of people said they couldn't find it on their Android. So this is what it looks like for Apple iPad. There is a smaller pocket version for the iPhone. It does a lot of the same things, obviously not quite as advanced because you can't use your pencil. I like using an Apple Pencil when I use Procreate. I just feel like it's the best quality you're gonna get. Bit of an investment as well, but honestly, again, worth every penny. So let's open Procreate here. All right, so when you go to Procreate, let's just cancel. So when you open Procreate, this is what you will see. You've got the little side on the right there. It's the plus symbol, photo, import, and select. So what I tend to do often is if I want to import one of my own photos, I'll just click on photo. And then you're going to go to your camera roll or wherever you put your photos. I have mine in all photos usually. So we'll just click on that and I'm just going to take this bedroom photo I found off the internet. I do apologize if this is somebody's, but I was trying to find a good photo that I could utilize for a before and after. So what you can do with Procreate, it's great, like you can shrink it because this is like a piece of paper as an artist. Like you would use this as your loose leaf piece of paper and you could color and you can twirl it. Like if you wanted to just shade the corner, like it's one of the most advanced apps, I think, as far as like if you wanted to do real portraits and stuff, but it also has so many basic features for doing before and afters of rooms, or if you wanted to add a rug in a room, stuff like that. So here we have the room. And what I would do first if I wanted to give this room a makeover is I would paint the walls. That's kind of where I always start. So these are, this is going to seem probably really complicated for a lot of you guys, but I'm going to try and show you the basics as well as I can without getting into too much detail. So I'm going to paint the walls in this. So what I tend to want to do when I paint walls is I'll go to Pinterest and I'm going to type in the color that I want. So let's just say the color that I used the other day for my shiplap was Benjamin Moore. Let's just actually pick Revere Pewter because it just comes up and this will be really quick. So I'm going to save that photo just by clicking on those little dots up there. You can save the photo. So now the photo's in my camera roll. So I'm going to go back to Procreate, and now that I have that photo, you're going to go to this little wrench. Anytime you want to add a photo into this photo, which you're going to want to do a lot of, you need to click on this wrench. So you're going to click on that and you're going to go to add. There's an add button here. So you're going to click on add, you're going to go insert photo. And then I'm going to go and select my Benjamin Moore Revere Pewter. So now that I have that photo of Revere Pewter, I now have the color right here. So I'm just going to set that to the side because I need that color for my walls. And so now I'm just going to shrink it a bit because there's a big bar that comes up down here and it gets in the way a lot. So in order to paint the walls, I'm going to paint this back wall. Obviously, I don't want to paint the windows. So this is where the pencil comes in handy, is because you really need to do a lot of detailed work to do stuff like this. So you're going to hit the selection tool. That's the S, selection. And whenever you're doing a selection, I usually use just these two down here, automatic and freehand. I don't even use rectangle, ellipse. I don't use any of this stuff down here. Maybe there's a lot that I could do with these, but I haven't learned yet. But I'm just going to go freehand. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on this little corner there. You'll see a dot that comes up. This is going to allow me to start selecting just the wall area. So I'm going to go over here now. And here, this would be like where the window is. Like that, just the wall, like that, and like that. Okay, so now that it's selected, you always have to click on the end where you started, so go back to that dot. And now that part is just selected. You could see all the lines everywhere else. I know it's kind of a bad visual right now. I wish wonder if I could zoom in, if that's going to be better for you guys. Sorry, I'm trying to do this with my my tripod as well. It's just really hard, but all this is selected. You can see there's like these visual lines. So now I'm going to hit my little paintbrush. So I have my paintbrush ready, and whenever I want to paint walls, I always go to airbrushing. So that's just here on the left, and I like to go to the very top and click on soft brush. Now I'm ready to paint. But I want this color. So I'm going to go to this little square over here, and that gives me that picker, which allows you to select whatever color you want. So there, I just dragged that circle there, and I now have Revere Pewter. That's the color that is now selected in the color wheel. So let's paint the wall Revere Pewter. And you literally just color it. That's it. So obviously that looks terrible. We need to put a bed in there. We need to do the floors. Okay, so now I'm just going to go back to selection and do this side. Doing the same thing what I did before. Oh geez, sorry guys. You're just going to select. This is going to be a really poor job because I'm doing it kind of while trying to stay out of the way of the camera. There. And color, color, color. All right. So now that you can see, this is the part here that has layers. Layers is kind of like, my sister-in-law explained it to me as like clear pieces of cellophane, I guess. Each layer is like a clear layer. So you're always going to be putting on extra layers onto this one canvas. So right now I have this layer that I just created, which is the coloring. So, but I don't actually want this little picture here of the Benjamin Moore. So this is the erase tool right up here on the top right. And the erase tool is as advanced as the artist tool, like the actual painting tool. But just for the most part, you don't need to know any of this stuff for what we're doing. Honestly, all I ever really do with erasing is go to the bottom, hit hard brush, and I'm in airbrushing. Because I guess there's just so much you can do with erasing as well if you're an artist. But there we go. I just erase that. Okay, so using the same layer because I'm painting everything, I'm going to paint, actually let's put some hardwood flooring in here. So let's go back to selection, let's go to insert photo. I'm pretty sure I have a photo of some hardwood flooring that I used for someone's home. Often I'll go to Google Images or Images, and then I'll just look up like vinyl flooring and see what comes up that's similar to something that they requested or something that they currently have. So here it is, it's in the photo. I'm going to shrink it a bit. And this is the fun thing. Whenever you want to distort a photo, you go to this arrow up here. This arrow up here allows you to change the actual photo itself. So this little green toggle up there allows me to change the position of it, turning it. So I'm going to want to turn it because you can see the room is on an angle. So let's do that. Let's turn it and let's put it about right here. And now I'm going to go to Distort, which is on the bottom right. And this is where you're going to want to stretch the hardwood floor so that it starts to fill the space and look a little bit more realistic, right? You can see how I'm pulling on the hardwood and it gives you that look of hardwood floor. All right, so I don't want to pull it much more because, well, actually I could in this case because it actually looks quite realistic. It would be a wider plank floor. But if you wanted like really skinny, you would probably want to cut and copy this image a few times. So I'll show you how to do that. So there it is. So now I've got two layers. I've got my painted wall and I've got this, my hardwood floor. If I wanted another one of these hardwood floors, it's easy. You swipe right, hit duplicate, go to your selection tool, and now I have that exact same picture, now duplicate it. And the fun thing is you can distort that now as well if I want to add another layer of hardwood floor just to make it like a skinnier plank. But I mean, this is just getting a little bit more advanced. I don't want to get too far into stuff like this because I just feel like it's probably not what you guys are wanting. A lot of you just wanting the basics of Procreate, and so I'm just going to try to stick to that. But anyways, I just still want to get some hardwood flooring in here for you guys. All right, so now we need baseboards, obviously, right? So I just draw those in. I'll go back to this layer here, which is where I was painting. And you really want to try and use as few layers as possible because sometimes these images only allow up to 12 layers. So then you're going to panic. It's like, well, I still have so much more I want to add. Sorry, I'm really struggling right now. So what I do, a little trick, is I'll save the image. I'll download the image with all of my maxed out layers. And then I'm going to add that photo as a new picture for a new image. So I would go back to gallery and I would go to photo, and then I would add a new photo in with all of those pictures already imported into the image if I had run out of 12 layers. So I guess that might be confusing to some, but I could always explain that later if you guys are wondering what I'm talking about. But obviously this doesn't look so great, but that's okay. You can play around with each piece to try and like make it look a little bit nice with the baseboards. But you know what? There's going to be a bed there and stuff, and clearly I have to fix that. But so now we want to put a bed here. This is where it gets fun because you get to start to play around with stuff that you want to add to the room. So let's say that we went to, oftentimes I find a lot of good stuff on Amazon. So I go to Amazon a lot, and sometimes they even have photos or pieces of furniture that you can do 360-degree turns with, which I love because then I can get the real perspective of the image rather than having to distort it. Distorting it only allows you to distort like a 2D version, not 3D. So you're only limited to so much you can actually do. So here's the Amazon. I'm going to type in bed frame and see what comes up here. Or maybe not bed frame, because then that gives us kind of janky looking things. So let's just type in bed. Usually that gives you like the metal version, which we do not want. Bed. Okay, let's just find something. Actually, you know what? Sorry guys, I'm going to type in farmhouse bed. Now we can probably get some prettier looking beds. Okay, this is looking a little bit more promising. Okay, so here we have, say, this one. All right, so, okay, see what I mean? I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's a 360-degree way to turn this image, which I love because now we can play around with this. So let's go back to our Procreate, and when you see the angle of the room, we're going to need a bed that shoots out into the room in this direction. So let's see, when I look at this bed and I look at this room, it's pretty darn close. I think it needs to come this way just a touch. So now that I have the bed, all I do is I screenshot this. And now I have the picture of that bed in that direction. So let's go to the wrench. Let's insert that bed into the room just by going to the wrench, add photo. Okay, so this is what is going to come up, and it looks like, wow, I don't need all that. So what you're going to do is you just want the bed. So you're going to go to the S, the selection tool, hit freehand, and you're just going to do a circle around just what you want, and always stop back at the circle. And this is where you're going to want to cut that out. So you're going to go to the wrench, cut. So now it's cut out of there. All right, and then you're going to go to paste. All right, so here it is separate. But you don't want this ugly thing in the background, right? So let's go to our layers and see what's happening here. You can see the bed is there. You can see that ugly background from Amazon is there. We don't want that, so let's delete that. Let's delete that. Okay, so there, we've got our bed ready to go. It's blue. That means we can select it. We can do stuff with it. So let's make it a bit bigger. We don't want the white background, so let's go to selection. And this is where I said I always use freehand and automatic. You're going to click on automatic here. So automatic allows you to delete the white background. So you're going to touch that. And sometimes it's auto-selected for what it thinks that you want. So you can play around with the threshold of that. You can see how it's going all black. That means all that's going to delete, but you can go backwards. I'm just dragging my pencil across the page. Okay, so let's just try that again. So select, and it's really grainy. You're just going to drag it until you get what you want. See, it starts to do that there on the bed. So I'm going to go about there. All right, and that's what I want deleted. So now let's go to cut. All right, now this is the only thing I don't like about this is you're left with this squiggly line from where the old kind of border was. So we're selected there. Let's erase that. So let's go to our erase hard, and let's just, oh, that was a really large eraser. Oh, this is something else I should mention. This is the size of your eraser. So, or why am I on glimmer? I have no idea. Let's go to airbrush, back to airbrush, please. And hard brush. Okay, so this is the size of your eraser, okay? And this is the opacity. This gives you, like, if you want it to be just a minimal amount or a lot of eraser, I always have it cranked up with everything. So don't even really worry about that. But over here, we have the size of your eraser. You don't want it too big because you don't want to erase the bed. So let's just erase that ugly white line that we don't want as part of our, and this is where the pencil's so good. You guys can really see how detailed you can get it. So now let's select that bed. Let's make it a little bit bigger because it's going to come into the room. Okay, now the reason the bed is under the hardwood is because the bed is not on top of the hardwood. We want the bed on top of the hardwood. You can see it's under the hardwood. Let's push the bed and push it up onto the hardwood. There you go. So now it's actually in the room properly. All right. So I'll quickly get into what I would do next in this situation. I would add curtains here, obviously bedside tables. Let's just quickly add some curtains. I'll show you how easy it is to do like fabrics. Fabric is one of my favorite things to play with. And you guys will love it too, because this is where Procreate is so good, where you can warp things and change the look of something. So let's just get some curtains here. Let's just do some white curtains. Okay, now curtains, I usually just select whatever image is there. Oftentimes, with a lot of stores, you can hold down and add to photos. So, and even if you can't add to photos, you can always screenshot it. And then that way you have the picture. Oh, sorry, Procreate. Okay, so let's go to add, insert photo. Here's our curtains. All right, so we're just gonna want panels there, right? So let's just use one panel because that pretty much just gives us what we need. So we've got it ready. We're blue. We're ready to use this layer. Let's go to selection or not selection. Sorry. Let's go to selection, which is the S, freehand. And now I can cut out fabric. And I just kind of squiggle across the top and hit the dot and cut that out, paste it back in as a separate layer. I hope this is not too complicated. So now there is my drape. I've got it ready to be moved. Actually, let's duplicate it first because we're going to need a couple. So let's go duplicate, there we go. So let's start with this one and let's put it over there. Let's take the middle one that I just created. Let's shrink it. Put it over here, and here's that other one that I just made. I made 3 of them. I'm just going to set that one probably right here for now. Okay, so I've got 3 drapes, what I wanted. Let's start with the first one I made, which is this one. Let's get it ready to be moved around. And this tool here, this arrow, this allows you to distort an image, warp it, make it big, small, freeform, which is just not something I use very often, but here we have a uniform, which will give you a little bit more height. So let's make this really tall because we've got like a nice vaulted ceiling here. Okay, and what I also like to do is warp, which allows you to actually play with the fabric and make it look a little bit more flowy. It's fun for pillows on a bed because you can warp them out and make them look puffy. So that one looks pretty good for now. I'll just leave that one there. This middle one, which is this one over here, it's on the warp selection still, so I'm just going to go to distort. Just going to squish that, make it look a little bit smaller over there because that's kind of in the corner of the room. And you can play with it like this. See how it kind of stretches around. There we go. And I'm going to put it behind the bed because it's in front of the bed right now. So there. Okay, and then we have this third one here. Let's click on that. Let's distort that one. And let's put it kind of by just on the hardwood there. So just like that. All right, so I still need to paint the wall there and stuff, but I'm just trying to get through as much as I can to give you guys the basics of Procreate. So there's some curtains there. If you want to add a curtain rod, I would screenshot a curtain rod and just layer it underneath each curtain. What else can I share? Okay, let's add some bedside tables, and I'll show you what to do if you can't find an image that is a 360 image. Let's go bedside table. Oh, not tablet. We don't want a tablet. Sorry, table. And I'll go to Target, I'll go to all the stores and look for furniture. Clearly, I'm not just strictly on Amazon because that's not what everybody wants to shop at, but a lot of times it's affordable for most people, good delivery, and I read the reviews of every product before I, advise something to somebody. Okay, so let's just use, these aren't very nice. Okay, let's go to Wayfair. Let's show you a different place. Wayfair. It always wants me to ship to Canada, and I'm always shopping for US clients. So bedside table. All right, so here are some bedside tables. Hope you guys can see. I don't know. Oh, nightstands, 14,000 results. So we've got a few to choose from. Let's pick this white one because it looks pretty. Okay. So whenever I pull up images, most places don't have 360. That's mostly an Amazon thing. So what I'll do is I'll look through all of these and look for the best one that's kind of on an angle. And this one actually looks really good. So I usually can just hold down with Wayfair and keep the image. So now let's go back here and let's add a nightstand in the room. Add, insert photo, and let's add our photo of the nightstand. So I'm gonna make it a bit smaller. Actually, let's cut it out first. Remember what to do for cutting it out. Hit the S, freehand. And what I like about freehand too is it does straight lines. If you just click on each corner, it gives you that option to just do a straight line. So it's good for furniture. And you're just kind of selecting out the nightstand, and you're going to go to cut and paste that back in, get rid of the ugly layer, and now you've got a nightstand. So if you wanted to fine tune this, you could take your eraser, because I didn't get all of it, and you can also do straight lines with erasers. So if you just hold it down, like don't lift, it'll have a straight line there, see? So that'll give you that nice crisp line. And sorry guys, I'm just going to try that one more time because I didn't quite get it. Hold. Okay, come on. There we go. So now we'll select it and make it a bit smaller. And actually, the angle of it is really good. I might move it back a tiny bit on this corner. So let's go to Distort and just play around with the angle of it just a touch. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. So now we've got a nightstand here. So let's put another one over here. Remember what to do. You go to your layer, go to duplicate. Now we've got two. Hit the arrow to select it, and let's move it on this side. Okay, we need it behind the bed, so let's put it behind the bed. Okay, and let's select it. So now we're going to uniform, because I just want it a touch smaller, and I'll distort it a tiny bit. Looks like it's on a different angle than the other one, so just to give it that symmetry. And I'll move it over just a touch. So it's really just eyeballing things and playing until you see what looks right for you. So I hope this gives you guys a lot of ideas. Everything else is very simple. Like you can add a rug, you can add a painting. I don't know what else to share. Oh, okay, let's go back to gallery. Gallery is like your main page where everything is, where you ever want to add photos or start from scratch if you want to make a mood board. If you want to make a mood board, those are fun. Add a plus, hit screen size. Now you've got basically a white piece of paper, and you're going to want to add images into this. It's so easy. Always just go to your wrench, insert a photo. Okay, let's go make a mood board. So say this belly basket or this couch. Let's click on this couch. Okay, there's always a background with every image you select, so don't forget that. Let's go to select, automatic, and now let's delete the background. Oops, not copy. Let's try that again. Automatic, cut. Let's cut out that background because you'll start to see when you start layering your pieces into your mood board, every piece has a background. So you always want to delete your background. Here's the table. Let's see, it's over top of the couch. There's a white background. Let's get rid of the background. Automatic. And that one needs a little bit more, so let's slide that a little bit more to the right, cut it out, and now there's no background. See? And you can add text into here. If you wanted to add text, go to your wrench, go to add text, and this color it's on right now is white, so we're probably going to want it black so we can actually see it. And let's go mood board. Oops. Select it again, and let's actually, okay, so it's not letting me. So what you do is you click on your text, hit edit text, and let's highlight everything. Let's write mood board. And when you go to, whenever you want to write something in Procreate, you always go to the layer that you added the writing. See, mood board, touch it, and it allows you to edit the text. So just double tap, slide this over, and here's all your options of fonts, colors, sizing, the basics of editing a text. So there you go, so go done. And if I want to make it smaller, just select it, always select it, and just move it around. So anyways, you could add lots onto this mood board. It's very basic. Okay, I forgot to mention, how do you save your photos? When you are done with any project and you want it to be saved to your camera roll, say that this was done, you're going to go to the wrench, share. I always do JPEG. I don't know if that's right or not, but that's just what I do and tends to work. Export, save image. So now it's saved. Okay, I'm trying to think of what else I can tell you guys. I'm sure I'm missing so many things. So maybe I'll just do this as my first video. Please DM me a bunch of questions. I'm going to upload this onto Instagram TV. I hope you saw everything. Yeah, please just DM me questions because like I know I've missed a ton. And then that way I can do a second video with all of the questions that you guys were asking. All right, thanks guys. Have a good day. Bye.